Unauthorized duplication of this videotape constitutes a heinous violation of the spirit of the game and will result in the following series of events. This tape will automatically erase and replace itself with 45 minutes of dogs catching discs. You will develop gachitis, and so will your teammates. Your offense will clog, your defense will cag, and your throws will regularly descend into Swill Village. In other words, please don't copy this tape.
It started in the parking lot of Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey in 1968.
The game itself is intoxicating.
It'll be common to see players from the opposing team come over and congratulate the other team's player.
Chasing something down that defies gravity just puts you in a different time frame. The sport definitely has a foothold on this planet.
It's not just Frisbee football. The game is called Ultimate, and this is the Ultimate Experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Rob Weller, and I'm here to introduce you to a sport that's played internationally by over 20,000 men and women. The sport is called Ultimate, and it combines the fast action of basketball, the thrill of the long bomb in football, and an element of sport that you don't see much anymore, honor. There are no referees required in an Ultimate match. You don't hear any whistle blowing, stopping action. All you need are 2 teams of 7, a field, and a disc. It's player to player, your word against mine. And believe it or not, it works.
Most Ultimate players find Ultimate, discover it in college. They're mostly in their 20s, they enjoy sports. They come out here to be on the stage, really. The field is a stage, and when you step between the lines, you're on a stage and you can show your athletic ability, but beyond that, because of the honor system of the sport and the spirit of the game, you're on another kind of stage where you are in a position of showing your peers what kind of character you have on the field.
The sport was founded in 1968 by a group of New Jersey high school students. Over the years, it's evolved into a highly organized game that requires not only quickness, but tremendous stamina.
Ultimate athletes have the highest level of endurance of any known athlete playing sports.
This program, The Ultimate Experience, is designed to give you a feel for this exciting new game and the level-headed people who play it.
They're doing an awful lot of cheating, and we're sort of accepting it. We're an incredibly good-natured crew that we are.
With Toronto's beautiful Sunnybrook Park as a backdrop, we'll study the World Club Championships and watch the game's finest compete for the title. But first, let's cover the basics. The Ultimate playing field is 120 yards long and 40 yards wide. The 2 end zones are each 25 yards deep, leaving an infield area of 70 yards from which the disc must be passed into an end zone. A disc can be thrown the entire length of the field, so turnovers or simple possession often constitute an immediate scoring threat.
Well, once you have an Ultimate player, you never go back. They're the best.
And speaking of the best, let's go to the men's finals in Toronto, where 2 excellent teams, New York, and Boston Big Brother, are facing each other to see who earns the world title. My co-commentators are Scott Gerst and John Vorhaus, both outstanding players themselves.
The team that's throwing, it's called the pull, will raise their hand, and when the receiving team is ready, someone on their team will raise a hand as well. And then play will start.
Big Brother from Boston pulling now to the team from New York in the white, Boston in the lavender.
We are underway. New York with the disc about 10 yards from their own end zone. They quickly move it up to around midfield. There's a quick shot for the end zone. Kenny Dobbins is free for the score.
So New York immediately, within the first few seconds of the game,
taking control.
First with goal number 1. It's called a goal.
That's right, a goal.
Or a point. And basically, let's talk a little bit, John, about what happened there.
Well, New York put the disc in play. They made one throw to a man who was open to throw, and he made a long throw. That's called a huck, long-distance throw from literally one end of the field to the other. The receiver broke free on a man-to-man against a man-to-man defense and made a real good play to get open and score.
Now, both teams have taken positions once again in the end zones, but they've switched sides, Scott. How come?
That's correct. After every goal, the team switch ends. That's to negate any field position or wind advantage that there might be on the field.
So New York now pulls the disc as it floats ever so gingerly down toward the end zone of Boston. Big brother.
That's a great pull because it gave the New York defenders time to get down and match up on their offensive men.
Does it make any difference whether you catch it or let it drop in the end zone?
If you make an attempt to catch it and you don't succeed, if you touch it and it drops to the ground, that's a turnover.
Now what's happened? Play has stopped already.
We just had either a pick call or some kind of foul or violation, and any time that there's a violation called, play will stop, the players will sort out what happened, and then they'll put it back into play.
Now how does it get put back into play?
The defender will touch the disc.
He'll count 3, 2, 1, touch the disc, and play will resume.
Now we're back. Same team has the disc.
A big brother moving about 10 yards from their own end zone. They go to the far side of the field. Number 84, Johnny Barr, with Ben Yasadi on the mark. And Mata Phillips pops out towards the middle of the field.
Defender has to stay how far away from the offensive man?
When they're guarding the person with the disc, there's a big hammer throw for the end zone. Knocked away. Not a great throw there by 00 Steve Mooney.
Now what does that mean?
Basically, they'll just have to keep running until somebody scores a goal.
Skip Kuhn looks stuck on his own end zone. Nice play out, Mike Turoff on his own goal line.
Is this a man-to-man defense?
This is a man-to-man defense we're seeing right here.
What's the New York team trying to do at this point?
Nice try by John Gertz to save that in bounds.
But the fact that one of his team members did not catch it means it's a turnover.
That is correct, and now Boston will put it into play from approximately midfield.
Is there an advantage having it in play closer to their goal?
Well, of course, you have less distance to go. They got a nice turnover there. Big swing cross field. They're now about 15 yards out. Steve Mooney directing his offense. They'd love to tie the game right here. Nice flip backhand. There's the man in the corner for the score. Nice sliding grab.
You will see over and over again in this game that there's a spirit of courtesy that underlies it, which says if the play is going organically, we'll just let it keep going.
And we have a light breeze today. How will that affect the disc, if any?
Probably won't affect it at all. These guys are such great throwers that this mild wind won't affect them. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like to have a little bit of wind because with the aid of the wind, they can make the disc curve a lot more than they would be without. Nice throw to the middle of the field. There's team leader, Kenny Dobbins, shot for the end zone. They have a man posted up. Oh, nice defensive play in the end zone. Boy, I thought that was going to be a goal there.
Now, in any way, can that defensive man from Boston interfere with the player in the goal?
No, and I think
it looks like a foul was called.
That's exactly what they're going to say happened. I think the receiver on New York is going to claim that Jeffrey Williams went up and hit him while the disc was in the air.
Which means what?
Which means now we'll take it back to the point where the throw originated from, since Jeffrey contested the foul. He said, I didn't foul you. The guy said you did, so essentially it counts as a do-over.
If they both agree that the foul had taken place, then play would resume where the foul had taken place.
I was intrigued by the spirit of the game. So I asked my friends and Ultimate veterans Mary Chris Staples, Les Lowcock, Dr. Tim Liddy, and Chip O'Connor to explain it to us.
Well, in Ultimate, there is a philosophy shared by all the players known as the spirit of the game. And that means each player is responsible for calling his or her own fouls. It's understood that no player will intentionally foul another person, so it's up to the two people involved to sort things out. Now, the person who's been accused of doing the foul can either agree that he did foul the person, or he can contest the foul and say, no way, I didn't do that, and it's up to them to work something out.
No third person comes in?
Occasionally, you'll ask for someone who's got the best perspective on the sideline or something like that, but usually it's between the two people involved. It can be quite intense at times.
All right, let's see a foul in action.
Okay. Foul!
No way, I hit the frisbee on top. I didn't touch you at
Chip,
all.
come on, man. I had both hands on the disc. You got
I
by
hit
and
down
you
on the
stripped it.
frisbee before you had control of it.
Chip, I pancaked the disc.
Back to the thrower.
Two hands.
No way.
Come on. Look, just talk 1 minute. I had two hands on the disc. You
I
hit
came
my
down this
hand
way.
and the disc at the same time. I had control of
All
the
I
disc.
felt was disc. I don't know if I hit your hand.
If
I'll
you
take
don't
your
know,
word
then
for
you
it.
don't know.
I'll take your word for it that
Okay,
I hit your
if
hand.
you don't know,
and
then disc
let's
is here.
play on.
All right, play on. Disc in.
Spirit of the game transcends language barriers, as illustrated in this encounter between a Canadian and a Swedish team. The problem is solved and play resumes. In this dispute, the two players can't agree, so they go to their teammates on the sidelines for assistance.
Okay, he's asking for help. I am too. I said if he had a play, it's a foul. The disc is going the other way. He was coming here.
Spirit of the game doesn't exclude spirited competition. Let's return to the men's finals and listen to the New York huddle during this Boston Big Brother timeout.
They're gonna hate every second of it. But let's keep it very clean. Let's not get in any arguments. Let's not make it ugly. Let's put on a show of efficient, perfect ultimate. Yeah! Hate perfection. You can hate it all you want. You can despise us. But they're gonna have to look at it. They're gonna have to look at it. We're the best, and we're gonna show it now. This New York. Every single point, you guys.
Long way to go,
New York. The defense looks good. The transition could be better. We got to crush them every single point. If we keep their offense on the field, they're gonna die. Fact! They have 7 guys on their offense. Fact! We have 20 guys on our D. Fact! There's no way they can run with us. Fact! They can't run with us now. Fact! They can't run with us. The next point. Fact! The next point. Fact! The next point. They can't.
Winning a game in Ultimate isn't everything, because you could, as long as you give it everything you have, the max, Ultimate, you've won.
Although there's no clock in Ultimate, with New York in the lead 6-2, Big Brother must score as quickly as possible.
He's got about a foot to go.
Got about a foot.
Back it up.
That can be the longest foot that there is on the field sometimes.
And Big Brother really needs this foot, too.
They flip out. There's Lenny free on the far sideline. There's the score. Nice play.
Boston needed that for their third goal. 6-3 now. New York over Boston.
But New York continues their drive.
There's a floating throw. Gonna have some bodies up. Bob DeMann pulls that down.
The tallest of the tall from New York.
Pops
Reaching
it back
sky
to Cribber.
Love to see him slam dunk a couple.
Shoots a flick for the end zone. For the score!
Boston immediately comes back with this play on goal.
There it is. Big shot for the end zone. Oh! Nice effort there by Jeffrey Williams.
But for Big Brother, persistence pays off.
Now we're back in. Steve Mooney shot for the far sideline for the score! Steve Mooney to Lenny Engel. Beautiful, low, floating forehand cross field.
And John, that's what they call going horizontal?
Going horizontal or going ho. A full extension layout like that. That's about the prettiest play in Ultimate right there.
So Boston, with a fine goal effort there, now moves within 3 of New York, 7-4.
That's right. We're going to see the Big Brother defense come back on the field. We're going to look for them to try and force a turnover here and get another quick goal.
Let's go, defense! Come on, dogs!
Now, when the disc is in play, there's a lot of dynamics that go on out in the field. Les, let's start things off with what? Offense?
Sure.
All right,
Sounds
what do we
good.
do?
All right, let's say Tim's just received the disc on the field. He's trying to force a pass around this defender. He must establish a pivot foot first, as in basketball, in order to do that. And he cannot lift that pivot foot or he'll be called on traveling. You see here he's trying to get a wrist flick or a sidearm throw out. Chip's blocking it. He's going to pivot back towards me and go for a backhand throw. Chip follows that as well. You can also try what we call a hammer throw, which is an upside down over the top throw, and that sort of slides down the wind. Again, Chip's a pretty tall guy and he's trying to block that pass. Now Chip, as a defender, is trying to do a lot of things here. Mary Chris, what's the main thing that Chip's trying to accomplish?
Well, one thing, Chip is going to try and keep his eyes focused on Tim's eyes to see where he's planning to throw the disc. Occasionally, he may look over his shoulder to see where the cutters are coming from, and so that he can have a little advance notice to go and block that throw.
Now, how close can he get, Mary Chris, on this?
A disc's width is the most he's allowed to have, although occasionally they'll come in a little bit closer initially, and the offender will push him back.
So this looks like a sort of a basketball portion of Ultimate, and yet they can't quite get that same contact that you can in basketball.
Exactly.
Well, they can get a lot of contact, but they try not to. And in fact, quite a few fouls are called in these types of situations. Most of them are caused when the defender tries to block a throw that the offender is making, and maybe Tim and Chip could show something like this. Tim makes a throw, Chip hits him on the arm. Tim might release that disc, but he's been hit, and that's a foul. And normally, if it was that overt, it would not be disputed, and the disc would come back to Tim if it hit the ground, or it would be kept in the receiver's hands if the pass was completed.
How much time does Tim have to hold that disc? Forever?
No, he's got approximately 10 seconds. The way it's counted off is like this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And then it would be down.
Now, is there anything from a defensive strategy that you should be thinking about out there?
Well, there's a couple of things, and maybe if we just stepped over here to this line, we could show you what it looks like. All right, I notice Tim and Chip have switched positions here.
Okay.
See, this line represents the sideline, and Tim's end zone is going to be down this way. What Chip's doing in this particular instance is he's forcing middle. In other words, he's not allowing Tim to make a pass down the sideline. He will not let him get that pass around him. He wants him to throw it into the middle of the field. By doing this, the defense can concentrate the efforts of the offense into a particular area of the field. They can shrink the field. They can only give them a certain amount of room to work in, and that's the essence of this type of defense. Now you'll notice that one thing that Chip can't do is straddle the pivot foot of Tim.
What do you mean?
Well, he cannot step over the pivot foot like that.
Okay.
He will be impeding Tim's motion on a throw, and very likely it'll result in a foul call. So he's got to give Tim his pivot. He's got to give him the room to pivot, and he can cover him like that.
Now, can Tim step out of bounds on offense?
Absolutely, as long as this pivot foot remains in bounds. The line in Ultimate is out of bounds. So his foot has to be in bounds, at least touching the grass.
Think for two people. Think for you and your buddy.
Ultimate is not just a man's sport. Earlier in the day, Scott, John, and I had an opportunity to watch Boston's Lady Godiva meet the Maniacs of Northern California for the women's final. Women's championship games are played to 19.
To the far sideline for the score. Nice diving catch over there.
Let's start this off with you, John. What's the basic difference you're going to see in women's play as opposed to men's play?
You see a lot more control, a lot more short throws, less physical and more cerebral games, sort of like real life.
And can that be an advantage, Scott?
Oh, sure, it can be an advantage, especially on a day like this when you've got great field conditions and great weather conditions. It's to your advantage to try to walk it down the field.
Lady Godiva came out strong with Gloria Lust and Corinthia Grayson scoring the first 2 goals of the game. But the Maniacs came right back with a vengeance, leaving Lady Godiva behind 10-5 at the half.
Maniacs have a free person in the end zone. There's the shot for the score!
Showing tremendous athletic ability, Godiva's Gloria Lust distinguished herself in the first half by scoring 4 of her team's 5 goals.
Katie Coyne takes a big shot at the end zone. Gloria Lust for the score.
Although Lady Godiva fought hard throughout the second half, the Maniacs with Peggy Hollinger and Annie Kreml outpaced them with precision teamwork.
Annie Kreml somehow got free behind the zone defense. There's the shot for the sideline. Gloria closing fast. Oh, can't get there. That's the score for the Maniacs.
That's championship play right there. They just marched the disc right down the field.
And it was championship play, because in the end, the Maniacs prevailed and took the title by 6. The final score, 19-13.
There it is. There's the win.
Nicole Beck
scoring the winning goal.
Scoring the winning goal for the Maniacs from San Francisco. The women's world champions here in Toronto, Canada, as they defeat the Boston team, Lady Godiva, 19-13, in front of an appreciative crowd. You see the two teams now mingling together in the true spirit of good sportsmanship and the spirit of the game.
Let's talk to a couple of the key players. There were so many on both teams, but from the Lady Godiva squad out of Boston, Gloria Lust with, I believe, 8 goals, a couple of assists. Wow, you were all over the place for them. And Peggy Hollinger, who we've talked to, of course, from the world champ now, Maniacs. You must feel pretty good, Peggy.
I feel great. I feel great. Ready to relax now, let down our intensity a little.
Yeah, you can finally chill out, as they say in your area.
Right.
We talked about this. It is a finals match.
Yes.
You would like to win if you can.
Yes.
Did that change the spirit of the game out on the field at all during the finals?
I don't think so. I think that traditionally we're used to playing each other, and I think that both of our teams are making a real good effort to try to keep the spirit of the game there. I personally think spirit of the game is something Michael Jordan has or Joe Montana has. Spirit of the game is being a good sport, and though a lot of people like to say that's unique to Ultimate, I think that being a good sport is something that goes across all sports, and I feel that we can be athletic and be intense, but we can both be good sports, and I think we were.
I had a chance to talk with Peggy and her family earlier this week about the unique effects of Ultimate on family life.
They wanted to find out why I always miss Thanksgiving dinner because I'm at Nationals, or why I'm not there for birthday parties because I'm playing in a tournament, or why I'm late coming to dinner because I'm practicing. Right. So they wanted to see what it was all about.
So they just really didn't believe that you existed anymore, right?
What kept me away from all those family functions?
Let's go Maniacs! Yeah!
The Ultimate spirit is more than just one person's dedication. Sometimes it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of patience.
We got married in May, and he was gone 8 of the 10 weekends before the wedding at tournaments. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. I go to a lot of tournaments with him. They're a great bunch of guys.
My son plays for Earth Atomizer in Boston. In fact, he left our hometown, which is Buffalo, New York, deliberately to play in Boston for a Boston team. And he's been playing with Earth Atomizer for about 3 or 4 years now. They travel all fall. They travel every weekend. They play tournaments all over. And by November, they're ready for the Nationals.
Gloria's not the only one who loves Ultimate. The game has garnered incredible popularity worldwide.
To all the Frisbee players in the world, I feel I'm really lucky to play this such a really, great sport.
And although language can sometimes be confusing, sportsmanship is a value around the world.
We thank you for this nice game. You played it up for us, and we hope that next time when we will see, we play better. Maybe.
In many cases, Ultimate was introduced worldwide by servicemen and women who, by simply packing a Frisbee, brought its unique spirit of the game to the rest of the world.
Hammer! Block! Die!
Here is the story of one such serviceman.
Recently, during Operation Desert Storm, a very valuable player to the Rhinos, which was the first and only American team in Europe that played Ultimate from 1985 to 1991, lost a player, Army Captain Charles Chuck Cooper. He was 28 years old. He was a very valuable player and truly believed in the spirit of the game, and those of us who play the game for that aspect of it as well will always keep him in our hearts and in our prayers because of his belief in that spirit of the game.
Ultimate is not only different because of the way it looks and because of the way it's played, Ultimate also has its own language.
I played out in Arizona once, and they had entirely different terminology just based on what area of the country people were playing in. They had hoe biffs and just things that the Northeast teams would never hear about.
Forehand is coming across your body this way throwing. Backhand is coming across your body like a backhand in tennis.
Scooper's kind of an upside down throw, just a short little pass. Kind of effective though.
Swill is when you make a bad pass or bad throw, or it's just like bad playing in general. Or swill cut. You make a bad cut. That's what swill means.
I love a huck. Huck is long, ill-considered, violently radical pass from one end of the field to the other.
The most radical word, gack. That's what happens when you're on the end zone and you've got the disc and you're ready to put it in and everything falls apart. That's a gack.
In men's championship play, the game is to 21 and halftime occurs when one team reaches 11 points. The first half of these finals was highlighted when Ken Dobbins took flight to score New York's 10th point.
New York set up a play. There's Dobbins.
Kenny Dobbins from New York.
He can jump.
Yes! Wow! Incredible! Perfectly timed right at the goal line. Went up and above over 2 Boston defenders to pull down goal number 10. giving New York a 10-5 lead now over Boston.
Wow, you know, I had an opportunity to watch the finals last year, the USA National Championships, and with a catch exactly like that, Mr. Dobbins pretty much single-handedly knocked the LA Iguanas out of the competition.
Let's take a look again as the pass comes nearly all the way down the field. Dobbins now with two Boston defenders, perfectly times it out, goes high, snags it for goal number 10.
That's just beautiful, going up between those two defenders like that.
And thank heavens for instant replay.
6 goals behind at the half, the Big Brother team had to come out strong as play resumed.
Standing about a foot out. Needs to be calm here. That's what he's doing, directing his offense. Little backhand flip.
Nobody's got it. Yes, he does.
They're going to call that up.
Oh, what a catch.
Yes, that's a catch by Mata Phillips. That disc went to nobody. I don't know who that was intended for. And Mata came out of nowhere to pick that disc about an inch off the ground.
Boston's comeback continued when Jeffrey Williams intercepted a New York pass and turned the flow of the game around.
Pat King, there's a big shot for the end zone. Jay's got it a couple feet short. There's Lenny for the score!
Oh, that's big. That's really big. We'll take a look at it again. A great move by Boston, doing exactly what New York has done in the first half. 3 passes, the length of the field, and a great, did you call that a layout?
Yes, It was a beautiful transition fast break. They never gave the defense a chance to get in the play.
So Boston showing some real stuff here as they've come out in the second half, down still by 4 points, but have picked up the first 2 goals, as both John Vorhaus and Scott Gerst have suggested they need to do to keep in this game.
I say we set up the zone. It's windy enough, it's gusty. They're going to be playing zone against us.
As simple as Ultimate may seem, each of these teams has spent hour upon hour developing tracking systems, strategies, and plays designed to expose weakness and move the disc upfield with precision and predetermination.
We can dictate who's thrown the goal to whom, who's made the diving block. It shows here that the team received the pass in their B zone, which means 10 yards out of their goal. They saw man defense through 5 passes, got within 10 yards of their goal line and threw a goal. It was a short pass from 13 to 44.
Okay, the disc is right here, okay?
Which way are we going? We're going this way.
We're going this way.
Gotcha.
The disc is right here. Everybody is going to line up in a stack behind me. Okay?
Radical.
Danzo is the only one that's going to make a cut into the end zone. It's up to you. All you have to do is get open. You have the whole end zone to work with.
These guys are really psyched up and they're playing hard with a lot of emotions. We're going to get a lot of pull. Guys, keep our heads. There's going to be a lot of shooting to contend with. They played a real sloppy game with New York, so if we hit the fast break right off the bat, we're going to score a lot of points.
A common form of offense is called the stack. In this situation, players line up in a single file between the disc holder and his goal. When the disc is put into play, the players cut out of line, breaking free in various directions. Ultimate usually involves a one-on-one form of defense, where each player guards a specific individual on the opposing team. Another option, as we saw in the women's final, is a zone defense, which can be employed to maximize field coverage and pass defense capability.
Stalling 3. Set Jackie. Raiders. Set Jackie option. Raiders IND 2.
Just in case you thought you were getting the hang of this, see if you can figure out what these people are talking about.
Somebody put a hell of a bid on a disc, whether it was a layout on a block or a layout on a snag or an almost snag, is just putting a hell of a bid on the disc.
The downwind, the punt factor is big. Secondary, middle. We should have a zone set up. We can send it downtown.
Let's push them into the dead zone and then come out of it.
Far side wing to come in.
Yeah.
His hammer is going to follow him. Then on the swing to that side, you have the deep come into that side. The wing, like the 3 wings and deeps rotate.
Okay.
Try it.
We had one deep point where we got it twice, gave it back twice, okay? And we had this one just now where we got it and gave it back. It's not right. It's as wrong gets. We're on a roll, playing good D, forcing them into turns right away. You gotta put it right in.
This attitude in the semis led New York to the men's finals, where they currently lead Boston by a score of 13-7. But don't count Boston out.
There's a big hammer up the sideline. Mata Phillips, nice catch just outside the outstretched arms of Gewurz. There's Moons for the goal.
That was gorgeous. The big bomb, the big hunk.
What a throw, too. That was a hammer was almost a blade. If it goes vertical from end to end without ever turning over on its back, that's called a blade or a knife.
That was a beautiful throw.
Come on, let's go, big brother! This is it!
An interesting thing happened a little later in the tournament when New York was driving and Big Brother intercepted, having an opportunity for a breakaway.
Settle everybody down. Now, there's a perfect example of the spirit of the game where they had a breakaway. They had a couple of New York guys who were caught deep, and one of the men had a shoe that either a lace had broken or came untied, and Mata said, okay, let's take our time, tie your shoe, and we'll put it back into play.
You're telling me they've stopped play because some guy's shoe was untied?
That's exactly what's happening out there.
Spirit of the game.
You know, a lot of people think that a Frisbee is just pretty much a standard thing. So we thought, well, let's bring in a pro. Let's get with it here. So we really know our discs from one from the other. And with me is Chris Locock, and Chris is the event coordinator here. Also, you're the head of the Canadian Disc Association?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Disc Canada.
All right, that's a good name for that. That makes sense. I've got a whole stack of discs. And I always call them Frisbees, but we know that's the generic name. All right, Chris, let's start with this little guy. What's this do?
This is a product that's come out on the market. It's called a Pocket Pro. It's used in the game of disc golf as a marker disc. Where the disc lands, this is used and marked at the leading edge of it, and you would take your next shot, plant your foot at where this disc is on the ground.
All right, what about this one? Now, this is a little different edge on it.
This is a golf disc. This is something that was designed by people at Stanford University. When the game of disc golf first came out, we were using the standard Frisbee brands, and the game became very popular. There's over 500 disc golf courses in the U.S. alone now, and they found that people wanted a disc that went further, didn't react to the wind as much. With these discs, they tend to float, and these go long distances.
Chris wasn't kidding. During the World Championships, we had an opportunity to witness the use of golf-type discs in the setting of 2 new world indoor distance records. We traveled to Toronto's Sky Dome, home of the Blue Jays and the Argos, to witness attempts by men and women. The women's record was set by Chris O'Cleary.
I am so happy I just set the world record in indoor distance for Frisbee.
Starting well behind home plate, John Blakely demonstrates more than warning track power with his 415-foot world record-setting throw.
Hi, I'm John Blakely. I'm a Torontonian. I just set the world indoor record of 415 feet. Oh, I got somebody.
Now this is the Ultimate Championship disc. This is what everybody's using during the tournament.
That's right. When this disc first came out on the market, it was the largest model that was made, and it used to be 165 grams in total weight. Since the game of Ultimate became more and more popular, teams were looking for a little heavier weighted disc, and now they're currently made at 175 grams, which allows the disc to go at least 10 yards further. And this is the disc that is used in competition. It's also one that is used in freestyle, so you can spin it, you have a bigger flight plate to use, and do your tricks.
Tournaments generally draw all sorts. Before we go back to the action, let's take a quick look at some of the freestyle experts who came to Toronto. The Masters division of Ultimate is for players over the age of 30. Although they play hard, Masters find additional pleasure in maintaining the game's customs. Here in a traditionally untraditional post-game cheer, performing the hit that made them famous is Third Coast Ultimate.
We played in the wind and we played in the rain. We thought it was so much fun, we do it again. The game was really great, the green was really neat. We had to play in the sun and we had to play in the heat because it stopped. Smash! Yeah! The game is really hip. The name of our team is the Third Coast Ultimate. There's just one more thing that I'd like to say, because we always end our little rhymes this way. I said, huh, that's it, we're the Third Coast Ultimate. What's that?
part of the name Ultimate comes from the fact that the game itself is so inexpensive. I mean, literally, you need a disc, you need some cleats help, and pretty much a requirement, and you need 4 cones, which you can use bags or you know, milk containers, anything to mark the field off. And if you have line fields, that's a bonus. Out here, of course, in the World Championships, everything's cones, line fields. It's really well done.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed that the game of Ultimate has a wardrobe all its own.
Tie-dyes, and which goes back to the fact that the sport is from the 60s. It was born in the 60s.
Teams design shirts and discs specifically for each tournament, where they're often traded between players and become valuable souvenirs.
Nobody here does this for money. It's just for the fun.
How about learning how to throw these?
Okay.
You've shown me a couple of quick methods. But
Well, I go around and teach the schools, younger kids, and the way I find it the easiest, we all went to, well, not all of us, but most of us ended up in the high school locker room with a towel, and we were flipping it at people, trying to give them a little stinger.
I got you.
Well, that's the type of flip that you put into your wrist. The easiest way to throw it is to take your hand, put the finger on the rim once again, have the fingers curled in on the rim or spread out, thumb pushing on the top, and you want to take the disc once again from across your body, straight across, and you usually open your hand to your object, so it's a straight out.
I've seen that done about 40% of the time. There's a lot of this overhand stuff, and
there's a hammer, which is like an overhead in tennis, and that's an upside down curving shot. It cuts into the wind and doesn't float as much, and that's an easy one. You want to try that?
Yeah, the hammer. Now, once again, I have to hold my hands how?
It's similar to a different grip, but just put your fingers in there like a peace sign.
Like that.
Take it over your head and throw it in an angle projection.
All right. So just like this. I don't know if I can hang on to this sucker. Give me that back.
Nice toss, Rob.
What did I do wrong?
Everything.
With some friends, get on down and do some good. Just grab a frisbee and it goes just like this. Go and catch it, running and jumping. Go and catch it, lay it out.
Plays like this incredible catch by New York's Juano Flores were part of the exciting conclusion of the men's final.
What a catch! A beautiful catch moves New York to within 1 point of the World Championships in Ultimate.
With New York needing only one more goal, Boston might have easily rolled over. However, they fought hard in their attempt to overcome the impossible odds.
Big shot cross field. There's the open man for the score. It ain't over.
Boston's never-say-die attitude continued as Jeremy Seager made this incredible defensive play.
This could be it.
The cut. Mike Nevins. Oh! Caught by Jeremy. Oh! Jay Seager.
Nevins is going to say that Seager went over the top of him and never got him a chance to leap
over
up.
the top of him, but I think he had the disc in his hand before. Yeah, he's going to let that go. Dave Blau said, Mike, let it go, man.
2 great defensive moves.
Did you see that? His feet were up around the other guy's head.
Yeah, Dave Blau went over to his teammate Mike Nevins and said, Mike, let that go. That was a great play. I saw that. You were underneath him. Jay Seager shoots it up the sideline. Nice catch. Robert Delorius goes for the end zone, number 7. Yeah. Oh!
Kareem Bosda.
And a great handshake.
Great play by Boston cut New York's margin to 5.
Lenny calling out a play. Lenny Engels. Redhead with the horns.
He's got the horns on his head.
Goes to the middle of the field. Now Delorius back to Lenny. Uh-oh. Oh! Didn't get it.
And finally, on this Boston possession.
Uh-oh, blocked by Blau. Here's the shot for the end zone. It's over.
New York.
World champions.
New York, New York. World champions. The World Flying Disc Federation Club Championships here in Toronto, Canada. 21-15. An outstanding match. Certainly for everyone here who enjoyed the festivities all week, a great way to conclude what this was all about.
Scott Gerst, thank you very much. Great job on play-by-play. And John, I'll tell you, wonderful job on color. Thank you. I feel like I want to go out and play some Ultimate.
Well, I get up in the morning, put my runners on my feet. Gotta get myself together for the tournament meet. But I cannot find my socks now, got a pain in my head. I tell you boys, let's face it, I just wanna go back to bed. I got them Frisbee, I got them Frisbee blues. Oh, sing it, boys.
Can we play right-handed now?
When was the last time you shaved?
Well, I've been out partying, I've been drinking strong, I've been smoking.
Okay, Jason, go long, go long!
Get on, but now I gotta go down, I gotta play some disc. So I tell you, anybody who crosses me, taking one big risk. I got them Frisbee, I got them Frisbee blues. All right, boys, let's do it again. I said Frisbee.
I'm a hairdresser.
You are.
You're making me very angry.
How much is the winning team going to make off of this tournament? Could you be more specific?
They may sell some more of their t-shirts, but...
Well, I wake up in the morning, put my runners on my feet. I gotta get myself together for that tournament meet, but I cannot find my socks. I got a pain in the head. I tell you, boys, let's face it, I just wanna go back to bed. I got that Frisbee, I got that Frisbee blues. Frisbee blues.
It's just fundamental disc.
Are you the official captain?
No.
And yeah.
What else? What else?
We're glad we can share this great new sport with you. Remember, in Ultimate, you compete with each player, not against each player. This is Rob Weller saying, we'll see you on the field.
1, 2, 3, 4. Scored 18 goals, and what do you get? Another early win, and we haven't won yet. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't throw. I'm dropping the disc and I'm running too slow.
We love to play Ultimate, Ultimate, Ultimate. Well, we love to play Ultimate, Ultimate. Well, we love to play Ultimate against Germany, against Germany. Well, we love to play Ultimate against Germany now. 1, 2, 3. Illa, illa, illa! Lay it out! Lay it out! Lay it out, Condors, lay it out! If you can't lay it out like a condor can, then you shouldn't have a goddamn disc in your hand! That was Ultimate! Yeah! Yeah!
What kind of song is that to sing during a match?
It's a fun song. Well,